Hello. Welcome back to another episode of Follow Your Heart podcast. And I'm continuing on with the solo episodes of Spiritual Biz 101. And today we're talking about how to use human design in your business. So I've spoke about human design countless times to my clients and sometimes on the podcast, but I don't think I share it as much as I would like to on Instagram and social media. But human design is one thing that has really changed my life. And for some of you, this may be a completely new spiritual tool or tool. And for some of you, you may be really excited because you're all about human design and you love to nerd out on it like me. Or maybe some of you are even human design readers and experts and may know a lot more than I do. But I invite all of you guys to listen wherever you're at. And I also invite you, if you have not, to find out what your human design type is. You can get it for free, your chart, at jovianarchive.com or mybodygraph.net, I want to say. I'll have to link those up in the show notes if I do remember. If not, please message me and I can send you those links. Once again, they're free charts, so you can at least find out what your human design type is to begin with. And I'm going to share with you first the story of how I discovered human design and go from there. So back in, last year, January of 2019, I went on a solo trip to Maui in the Philippines. And this was when I was really deep in my awakening process, and my best friend Kaylee, as you know, Kashik Kaylee, and we had just met like a couple of months prior through Instagram, and we were constantly messaging each other back and forth, and all of these things were happening to us, and we were just discovering so much about spirituality, and our awakening was just rapidly growing. And so I was in it. I wanted to learn everything there was to know about spirituality. And at the time in January or February, I was visiting my aunts, one of my gurus of life. My aunt lives in Maui and she has her own healing retreat. Maui Healing Retreat is the name of it, and it's a beautiful, amazing retreat. She has developed amazing company and business, and she's very spiritual, and she's always been like the woo-woo outsider family member. And I remember like my family was like, she has crystals and she like prays to Buddha or like knows Buddhism and all these things and does feng shui, and like she's done it all. And she told me, and we became really close. I feel like she is like my sister from another lifetime. And so I love visiting her, and I typically visit her once a year in Maui. And so we were driving up to the volcano of Haleakala in Maui, and I asked her, so after 40 years of everything you've learned about spirituality and all the different things, astrology, numerology, feng shui, Buddhism, like you name it, she's went down the rabbit hole and she's experienced it. And I said, what has helped you the most? And she said, human design. And I was like, I have no idea what that is. What is it? And so she explained a little bit about it and how it helped her personally. She said that she was one of the rare ones as a manifester, and how she's used it in her family, and how someone's helped her with her business based on her human design, how to best initiate and inform based on her strategy as a manifester. And she explained what a manifester was, and I was like, it's really rare, but I feel like I am also a manifester. And I told her that. I was like, that sounds a lot like me. I get upset when people tell me what to do, and I'm really bad at informing people. I just go do it without telling people. And then later people are like, where did you go? And I was like, I just went to the bathroom, or I just went to like go for a walk. What's the big deal? And so anyways, a couple days later, she drops me off at the airport, and the first thing I do is I look up my chart, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm a manifester. I was right. Intuitively, I felt it. And so I told my friend Kaylee about this, and she looked up hers, and we started to listen to some podcasts, I think. Or we did a little research, but we didn't get into it very much. And then something else happened months later where it triggered us to start to look into it again. I think Kaylee had was like, hey, human design, it's coming up again. And so we started to learn, and we just became so fascinated with it and studying each of our types like individually. And then we'd share with each other what our type was, so that way we can best communicate and understand each other and our friendship. And it was so helpful because at the time Kaylee and I were coaching, so we started using it in our clients too, and understanding their design type and coaching them from that lens. And it just made a world of a difference. Like everything it made so much more sense. And our relationship just grew so much stronger because we used each other's strategies and understanding each other's design types to communicate and build our friendship and our business together. At the time we were co-coaching. And one of the other things that really helped me in my business and my life, not only understanding my main design type, which was a manifester, and for you, you can either be an energy type or a non-energy type. There's 5 different types, and essentially there's 2 different buckets. Within the energy type, that's one bucket, you could be a manifesting generator or a generator. And then within the non-energy types, you can be a projector, a manifester, or a reflector. And so, whatever you are, I invite you to Google that type and do some research, whatever you feel called to see, like it might be Instagram, a YouTube video, whatever, just trust and learn about yourself through that design type. And then also learn about your inner authority. And there's many different inner authorities. You could be an emotional solar plexus, you could be splenic, you could be sacral, you could be self-projected, or I think self-identified. You could be, there's a couple different types there. So whatever you are, I also invite you to look up that specific one, because that's unique as well. So once I learned that I was a splenic inner authority, I learned that's how my intuition speaks to me. And our intuitions, as a reminder, never speak to us through our mind. Intuitions come through our body. And what human design tells us is what part of our body our intuition speaks to us. And so if you're emotional solar plexus, your intuition speaks to you through your emotional solar plexus and through your emotions. For me, as a splenic or a splenic authority, my intuition speaks to me through my spleen, which is the most primitive way. Our intuitions were like back in caveman days, or even, you're getting chased by a lion, that spleen is instant, and it's very instinctual, and that's how my intuition speaks to me. But for some of you who are emotional solar plexus, it's not going to be instant. It's going to be an emotional wave that you're going to go through. And you'll have to ride that wave until you come to a space of neutrality and feel into what feels the most predominant emotion versus making a quick decision. So the inner authority or decision-making authority has helped me so much in my personal life and my business. Anytime I'm thinking about an idea for my business, I really tap into my intuition and my inner authority as my spleen to make that decision. And it can be challenging because you're like, wow, I'm really using my intuition in my business. That sounds risky, but I trust me, it's a much better decision to make than one with your mind. Because mind has the ego typically, and it may be trying to protect you or do the safe thing to do or the quote-unquote right thing to do, but only you know what's best for you, and your intuition knows what's best for you. So I invite all of you, if you have not yet done so, to experiment with human design. And the best way to experiment is to learn more about your main type. Are you a manifester? Are you a reflector, projector, generator, or manifesting generator? Start there and experiment with understanding that design type first, and then diving into your inner authority and experimenting with your intuition in the smallest ways. It could be asking yourself, do I want a banana or an apple right now? And tapping into that inner authority. Or a small decision of, what do I want to do tomorrow for exercise? And tapping into your inner authority there. And then as you build up the confidence and the trust with your inner authority and understanding how it speaks to you, it's like exercising that muscle and listening to it and becoming friends with it and understanding how it communicates with you. Then you can start to use bigger decisions to play with that inner authority. And that's what I did. It was one big experiment, and that's what human design is, intended to be as an experiment of life, an experiment to see what feels good and feels right to you, because there's many different perceptions and understandings of human design in general. And some people say, oh, the inner authority means this, and that's the truth. And others will say a projector is this and only this. And you're like, that doesn't feel right for me. And that's why it's an experiment, because your truth may be different than someone else's, and your experience may be different than someone else's. So it's intended to be one big experimentation. It's not intended to put you in a box. It's supposed to help you to rediscover who you are at your core and get rid of all the conditioning of what people told you you were supposed to be or who you need to be. So once again, I invite you to discover human design and to use it and play with it and discover all of its magical powers. It's not really an ancient wisdom, because it was actually came as a channeled, downloaded message from Ra-Uru, I think back in 1987, I want to say. Don't quote me on that. But it is a compilation of all these different ancient practices and tools of wisdom, of like the I Ching and Kabbalah, Tree of Life and astrology and others coming together in this beautiful, beautiful mapping of who we are at our essence and who we were designed to be on this planet. So I hope this serves you. I trust this serves you, actually. I don't hope. And as always, I'm sending you so much love and light from here on the island of Ometepe. Love you guys. Until next time.